Julio, good to see you, and I'm glad that you're okay because once again, here you are in a different part of the country, and this seems a little different though because I'm not seeing multi-level businesses and storefronts. I am in one video, but the rest of the video, this looks like they're just in a regular, average, everyday American neighborhood. Tell me what happened.
So that crowd of Black Lives Matter protesters, after the DA decided not to charge the officer involved in the shooting of Alvin Cole, they had marched all the way from Milwaukee to Tosha, which is the shortened name of the town, and so it's about a 6 mile walk slash drive. So it was a mix. It was like a caravan of cars and people. They were, I believe, they were trying to make their way to the police station. And all along the way, there were buildings that were being smashed, windows. And you're right, this is different because, and this is the first I've seen where they're taking kinetic action against homes, against private residences, and that is something that is very scary in the fact that they are really escalating that, and the fact that they think they can get away with just in attacking. Because I've seen people being harassed outside their homes because they were either filming or they weren't all in about with the Black Lives Matter organization. But there was no one outside those residences when rioters started to throw rocks and bricks through the window.
Yeah.
And so this was happening predominantly in these neighborhoods of Tosha. So it just really shows how much this is spreading out from downtown areas.
And to clarify too, I mean, there's nothing, I mean, significant about these particular residential areas that they were marching through. I mean, they just happened to just be there, right?
Right. It was just along the path that they were walking from. It's North Avenue, which is one of the main roads between Milwaukee and Tosha. So it was just there. That was their only crime was just being along that path that they were walking.
It's awful. And I see at one point finally, and I'm looking at all of your videos here, police did show up and they were asking the crowd to disperse. And when the rioters would not disperse, that's when tear gas was used. And it seems like they gave them, talking with Julio Rosas of Town Hall, seems like they gave them, these rioters here in Wisconsin, a lot of opportunity to stop and back up before continuing marching through and destroying these people's homes. But how long did it take for that kind of response from law enforcement?
So, as I said before, they were trying to make their way to the police department all the
Mm-hmm.
way from Milwaukee. And so it was after the storefronts and the houses were being demolished or being destroyed that's when they finally put
Right.
themselves in front of the crowd to prevent them from advancing further. And then, but the issue with that is they just simply went to another street and they were just kind of playing catch up with each other
Gosh.
to prevent them from trying to go further. And then at one point, a Safeway gas station was looted. And it was also kind of funny too, because I did see one person trying to actually pay money for what they were taking.
Wow.
But it was just it was just kind of craziness that was happening throughout the night. And you're right, they were given multiple warnings to disperse. But in one instance, they were using a car because remember there was cars in this caravan.
Yeah.
There was actually
I'm
a lot
watching
of
this.
cars.
I'm watching one of your videos where there are multiple cars just driving right through the front yards of all these homes.
Yeah, and they were using one of the cars as cover to try to kind of inch their way towards the line of police, but tear gas was deployed, and that's what kind of got them to again move away. But then they just went onto another street and continued trying to walking to try to
Wow.
find some way. Eventually, they kind of
Mm.
gave up and marched back to Milwaukee.
Wow. Yeah, it's not as though people probably, they knew they were coming, especially if they were making it as obvious as they could. It's sad to see now that you have photos of the next day, now the morning, now that you can see the extent of the damage, not just on these private businesses. I'm looking at one of the videos that you have where it's an entire block that looks like just the front of these stores were just destroyed and windows busted, a lot of damage. And then a lot of these homes too. There's one sad photo that shows the inside of a home home, someone's living room, just covered in debris, including broken glass. That had to be pretty terrifying for the residents who, you're used to seeing this almost. Not saying that this as a way to say that it's accepted or in any way condoned, but you're not used to seeing that in residential neighborhoods, and particularly for these people, Julio, you don't experience this every day. What was their reaction like, and are they demanding accountability from their elected officials as a response to this?
So I was able to interview the owner of that apartment complex. And so to give a little bit of a scoop, because the full story is going to be put up on townhall.com in a short while, there was one person who was home where their front window was damaged. And so the rest of the people that lived in that apartment complex decided that night to spend the night elsewhere. And
Wow.
so, but they absolutely are. They absolutely were terrified. I mean, who wouldn't be? That's just you're sleeping and all of a sudden your windows crashing, and rocks being thrown, and you didn't even do anything to deserve something like that to happen to you.
Yeah.
No, people are upset, obviously, but you do. This is a little bit of a liberal. This is a liberal neighborhood. I've seen a lot of Joe Biden signs, a lot of BLM signs out in front lawns. So I have heard from some of the community members that I talked to this morning that the actions of a few doesn't
Wait, yeah, account for
paint
everyone, right?
paint everyone else in a bad light. So they're trying to make sure that they understand, or they want people to know that it wasn't everybody, and it is true. I mean, to some of the people's credit, there were people who were trying to stop the rioters from attacking the houses, and unfortunately, the damage was already done by the time anything was concrete was able
Yeah.
to happen. But they were definitely they definitely had a hard time policing the more violent aspects of the group. And like I said, that wasn't the only stretch of a place that was damaged, because again they were just moving throughout the neighborhoods to try to avoid police. And that just for with each new street there was just new targets for the violent
Yeah.
people in that group to target.
Just awful. Goodness. Yeah, these videos are pretty unbelievable. Just unbelievable. Julio Rosas with townhall.com. Please stay safe out there, my friend. We know you do, but you do such a great job and do such great work. So we'll be continuing to watch for your coverage of this, as it's all over the country. Julio, thank you so much. God
Yeah.
bless.